Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through my resume. I will show you guys the resume, the UX UI resume that I used to get me hired. Yeah, it'll be a fun one because I'm going to go through all the different parts and pieces of it. I'll show you the layout, how I had to kind of frame my work experience coming from a different career, education, all of that. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video. Before I jump into the resume, for some of my newer viewers, I came from an interior design background. So I was an interior designer for 7 years before making the switch to UX, UI design, went through the boot camp. There's tons of videos on my channel talking about that. But just to kind of give you some background coming into how I had to think about writing this resume. So first off, I made this resume in Canva, and hindsight, I wish I had done it in Figma. I went to Canva just because that's where I was the most comfortable at the time when I was making it, but definitely I would recommend doing it in Figma or some kind of design software just because it has the best alignment of like elements that, you know, Canva does a pretty good job, but looking at this now, I can like see little things where I'm like, oh, that's not totally aligned and that's not exactly right. So that's my recommendation to you. Do it in some kind of design software. Overall layout, you want to keep it simple, but still have some kind of visual interest is the way that I went about it. So you've got the name at the top, my role, and then here I put in this is the contact info, email, phone number, and then where I'm located. Make it a little more interesting, added these graphics in here just to kind of have something that's a little bit different, because most likely these recruiters, these hiring managers, they're going to be looking at your stuff for 10 seconds maybe. So you want to make sure you've got something eye-catching that doesn't detract from the information you're putting on there, but still something that is visually interesting and kind of shows that you are the designer that you say you are. Now, let's talk about the work experience, because that is really the meat and potatoes. The first thing that I'm putting is UX related, and the first thing here is my internship that I did. My role said that it was an internship, name of the company and the time that lasted, and then here I think it's important to like do a little blurb of like what the company is, because unless it's like Apple, Google, most people aren't going to know these smaller companies, and this one specifically was a startup. It was like brand spanking new. So here I just get a little blurb that it's an e-commerce startup specializing in men's grooming products. And then from there is where I listed the bullet points of what exactly I did. A great tip that I actually learned is make sure that every bullet point starts with some kind of action verb. So here you see collaborated, conducted, presented. You want it to be actionable, not just like a plain statement, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I did, ran eval tests, wireframes, just really make sure you break down the most important things that you did. This was only a month-long project, so there's not a ton of bullet points associated with it, but you want to make sure you highlight what you did and what's most important. Okay, now here, this is showing my interior design experience, which I know is going to be crucial for a lot of people coming from different industries. Here, I just blurred out the name of the company. So the time that I was working there, at the time I was still working there. And then I said what it was. So architecture and design company specializing in commercial offices, office spaces, small hospitality, design. So, and I also included some of the clients that were the bigger clients like Brewmate, Guild Education, Showtime. Okay, and then here, same thing tip before, like I mentioned, of starting with some kind of action verb, but then also it's important to quantify the things that you did. And by quantify, I mean, put some numbers to it. Like this statement presents stronger than just saying like, I presented design concepts successfully. Okay, I did do that, but let's put some numbers to it so it feels a little bit more tangible, if that makes sense. Okay, so here, I presented design concepts for stakeholders for project buy-in, securing 75% of proposed projects. Sounds better. Like this one here, conducted interviews of 2 to 6 end users. You know, that's a simple one. Like just say the number of people that you ran tests rather than just saying I ran the tests. Okay, so I really think quantifying, it just takes your resume up a level, and then it really shows that you took the time to understand, like, how am I making an impact in what sense? The great thing about UX is that there's probably something that you do in your current role that's not design related that could be UX in a way. Okay, so let's look at something here. One of the bullet points I have here is worked on cross-functional teams with engineers and facilitated design drawing handoffs. Okay, as an interior designer, we were working with mechanical, electrical, general contractors, and we were creating CAD drawings, space plans. I was having tangible things, but I was also communicating back and forth with other disciplines. And I'm sure whatever role that you are in, whether you are coming from education, whether you are in nursing, whether you are in literally anything, you're probably working with somebody that's in a different department than you. And so that is a cross-functional team. That is something that UX designers do. That is something that you do currently. Let's say you are, I love saying this. Let's say you're a real estate agent and you're wanting to move into UX design. Why you would want to do that, I don't know. But let's say you're a real estate agent and you work with leasing agents, you work with lenders, you work with mortgage lenders. You are working cross-functionally to get the goal achieved. So even take a look at your job description for whatever job you're currently in and try to see, even like highlight, like, what do I do that's actually UX related that I can put down on paper that is a UX function. Okay, so the other side is a little simpler, just with the education. At the top, I put in like what the degree is, like what the title is, UX designer. I got a certification through Springboard, and then I did a little blurb of like what I actually did. And this blurb was actually provided from Springboard, I think. So just a little blurb of like what the program is. And I definitely think, again, it helps to quantify like 700 plus hours. So this was like a few months long. So it wasn't like a 2-week course that I'm a UX designer, So this just kind of helps support your case a little bit more. And then here I'm showing some previous education, Bachelor of Science in Interior Design. And then here you want to list your kind of tools and skills. So in this case, the tools that I use: Figma, InVision, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and then methods. So I've seen it as methods, I've seen it as skills, but it's really just like, what UX skills do I have? So visual design, wireframing, prototyping, like all the things that you learn through your bootcamp or through your schooling, this is where you want to list that. Fine. Guys, I am trying to film this video all morning, and this dog, this is my life. What are you doing? You're fine. You're fine. People are allowed to walk by. I know you don't think that, but they are. Okay, so that is the overview of the resume, guys. I know I included some tips as I went through this, but there are a couple of things I did want to mention as well. There's 2 different ways to kind of go about sending your resume. And so what I mean by that is that there's the human resume and there's the ATS resume. And so ATS is applicant tracking system, and a lot of big companies use it to weed through all the applications. So pretty much an ATS is a software program that manages all the applications. And the reason that people use that is, it kind of weeds out the people that are not qualified, because lots of people are applying for jobs that they're not qualified for. And so this kind of alleviates having to sift through thousands of resumes. So the goal is you want to be able to get your resume past that system. To do that, you have to design an ATS friendly resume. And this is what mine looks like. It's definitely the very boring, very not exciting way, but this will get past the tracking system. Like, it's not how I showed you my other one was like laid out in 2 columns. ATS tracking things, hate that. Like, they can't read it that way. So they like literally read left to right, left to right. So if anything is like laid out differently, they're gonna have a hard time reading that. So, and maybe in another video I can go into this really, really in depth, but long story less long. You just want to make sure that you have a human-friendly version, like the flashy fun one that I showed you, and then kind of like a basic boring one, just in case. So how do you know which one to go with? Really, you just need to send the ATS-friendly one when you are submitting through an online portal, you were on like a job board, unless you're sending your resume directly to somebody, I would go the ATS route. Sometimes you can even do like, you know, like when you're filling out a job app, like filling out a form, you can attach your resume. That is where I put the ATS one. And sometimes there's like an optional documents you could put in the human friendly one. But in that resume category, you want to make sure you put in the ATS friendly one, because that's going to get you past the like applicant system to actually get your stuff, get your resume in front of a real person. We definitely abbreviated a lot of that. There's a lot more to it, but I just wanted to give you guys a little rundown to make sure you've got your nice, beautiful UX one, but then make sure you have this other one in your back pocket, because more than likely you'll be submitting that one versus the human one. And the last thing, not so much of a tip, but just keep it in mind, your resume will come second to your portfolio. Your portfolio is your crown and jewel, because it actually shows the hiring manager what you can actually do. The skills that you list in your resume, your portfolio is proof of those skills. So resumes are important, but don't get too caught up in it. Okay guys, that is the video. I really hope this helped you craft your own resumes, gave you some ideas, some pointers. Yeah, any resource I can provide you guys to kind of help you along your UX path, I'm so happy to do so. If you like the content, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.